And would someone like to second that motion?
Yeah.
Councillor Ring, thank you. Councillor Baines.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. I'd like to move a motion to defer this matter to the second long-term strategic financial plan scheduled to be presented to Council on March 2nd of this year.
Okay, would there be a seconder for that? Councillor Doherty. Okay, thank you. So when there is a deferral, there's no discussion. So we'll just bring that to a vote. All those in favor of a deferral? So I can't even.
I think it's 4.
Okay, and me and 3. It's defeated. Okay, then on we go. Count. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you again, Mayor Hamlin. I will speak first to it. And I want to say first, I appreciate Clerk Services and all of their help with putting things together for today. Had considered the January 19th meeting, but as Clerk Amos had explained, the January 17th deadline was a legislative timeline, and so it had to be adhered to. The only option then was for a special meeting, and I do appreciate the council support for today. I thought it was an opportunity to bring forth the amendment and the wording presented, and what I had a chance to do was have some very helpful discussion with all staff to ensure that there's a very clear understanding, and then trying to make sure that any concerns were addressed. It also is an opportunity to indicate that the $60,000 of 2025 municipal accommodation tax that was approved by amendment is actually going to get into the 2026 incremental capital levy, because that wasn't completed last Monday. So again, the primary goal is to increase the 26 capital levy change to be similar to the 24 and 25 budget levels, and then also not impact the 2.43% that has already been established. The secondary goal is to hopefully increase the support from 5 to 4 for the budget that had been tabled. Our council has a history of unanimous budgets, and I'd like to think that with support of this motion, we'll be moving towards that. After our December 15th meeting, all options were carefully studied, and further express appreciation to staff for all of their very helpful guidance in response to the questions and with the answers that they had. In the end, utilizing the general reserve excess, which was identified first in staff report T 2025-09, and recommended the reallocation of the life cycle replacement. That was the option that had the best results overall, that led us to finalize this motion as presented. It's obviously more separated than the $390,000 defeated motion on January 12th, but it is the same intent. I'll just briefly review that the first part will increase the 26 capital levy change from $200,000 to $650,000, which is roughly the average of 24 and 25 changes. The second part formalizes a discussion point during the process when Treasury indicated a preference for only one levy. The third part is in conjunction with the fourth part to indicate that $390,000 is the net amount of that will be coming from the general reserve. And then finally, that last part is what would typically, I think, happen in any kind of the process now under this new budget process, that when you finalize your amendments, you shorten the period by however much you can. In this particular case, it's 1 day, but I think if it was 1 day or 10, it would still be the same. To finalize, then I think this council has worked very, very hard all term to provide a clearer understanding to our tax and ratepayers of the significant investment in infrastructure renewal that is partially funded by about 12% of their annual tax levy. One step taken was to separate from the total municipal levy the capital portion. which allows us to easily identify that 12% portion. As we move forward with another major step with the long-term financial plan we were reviewing in March, we'll be able to provide further transparent detail about expected future impacts. That is expected to include projections of annual capital levy changes, which can be built off of the 3 years of $650,000 that this council has implemented. I'll turn it over now to my fellow members for their input, because maybe I think the wording's clear, but it may not be. And I'll just close off and leave my comments for during right to reply, if any required. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone like to comment on this? Go ahead, Councillor Perry.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. So I don't want to speak out of turn or say something I shouldn't say. And if I do, please feel free to cut me off. But the wording in this motion, is that actually through you, Mayor, to Deputy Mayor Fryer, that's your wording, or is it put together with input from staff as well?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, through you. As I mentioned, I had met with staff, and I'll particularly say it was CAO Skinner and Treasurer Graham, and we worked on the wording together. Okay, thank you. So that clears a lot, because this has been going on a long time, and I'd love to, but probably most people would love to see it. And I will comment that at last Monday's meeting during our budget discussions, I did sense a little bit of frustration from Treasurer Graham, and I acknowledge that you have put a ton of work into this, and I just want to put it out there that it didn't go unnoticed. So I do want to say thank you for everything you've done with this budget. I'd like to see it end today if possible, but the fact that there's been input from significant staff, it means a lot. As far as the way I'm thinking. So thank you.
I'd just like to clarify that the fact, and maybe this is to the treasurer or the CAO, the fact that staff helps draft a budget, does that mean, or motion, does that mean they're in support of it? Can someone clarify that? Because I think that's what Councillor Perry's suggesting.
Yeah, through you. I think we could split that hair, and it could be a separate question around support versus, helping someone with the wording versus support, and they may not be mutually, anyway, those two could be the same, or they could be different. Any notice of motion that a council member wants to bring forward, it really doesn't matter if we agree with the intent, but we will help to try and make that wording clear. And if the council member wishes to provide them with some background or any additional information that they may not be aware of that comes to staff's mind when we understand the intent. And then, of course, we're always willing to provide our advice if it's appropriate in the situation or asked for by council.
Yeah, thank you. That's good. Yes, I see that. Thank you. Councillor Jeffrey, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mayor Hamlin. I just want to say that I continue to support the intent of this motion amendment. I think it's not new to our process. We've done this in previous years. I think staff had the benefit of an excellent articulate response to Councillor McCulloch's questions that the treasurer circulated to us. And I don't think it could be more clear that this is going to assist with what senior staff have been asking us over and over again, is to do whatever we can by every penny or dollar possible to close the gap in our infrastructure funding. So I think that this continues to do that, and it does set us on a path for our long-term financial strategic planning discussions in how to maintain this going forward without the complication of what we went through. So it's always been clear to me, and I'm very happy with the new wording, and I think it should be pretty clear for all of council now too. So I will be supporting the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I drew some conclusions different from Councillor Jeffries that she's just mentioned after reading and considering the wording in the budget. So I do have a question for the treasurer. The $390,000, as I understand it, is in essence, and I know there's some, steps in between, but in essence, council would be voting to move $390,000 from our general reserve fund to our life cycle reserve fund. Is that the essence of what we would be doing here?
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. In a very roundabout way, in essence, yes. So the way that the motion is working right now, it's twofold. The first thing is the motion reads to increase the levy raised for capital work. And to do that, we're going to raise more taxes for it. The motion then says they don't actually want to increase our taxes, though, overall for residents. So let's bring in another funding source to offset that tax increase. So we would bring money in from the general reserve to lower the operational side of the taxes. The capital levy does go to life cycle reserve, so I could see that how you could draw that conclusion. It is ultimately going to be going to the life cycle reserve.
Right.
Just a couple steps along the way to get there.
Okay. And so I just wanted to understand that. And then the other thing, which is the MAT 60,000, when council voted on Monday to take an additional $60,000 that we haven't received yet from our 2026 MAT funding, it was going to go to lower the taxes to the rate of about $2 a year, I guess, from what we had previously decided. So I understand that this motion then would also put that $60,000 into the life cycle reserve funds. Okay, so that we would have in total that $450,000, which is at the top that's referenced, is moving funds firstly from MAT 2026 that we haven't received, and from pretending to raise the taxes but not doing so, but so taking it out of the general reserve. So in the end, we have more money in our life cycle reserve, but we haven't really done anything except move money from one pot to another. Is that fair?
Ultimately, that is fair. The one thing that is happening, though, that is a little nuanced is the tax rate for capital levy will be increased. So that means starting in 2027 budget, we tend to start at the baseline using prior year's tax rate as a starting point. So going forward in 2027, the capital levy will be starting at a higher point should this amendment pass versus what was proposed in December. The flip side of that, however, too, it means the operational levy is now starting 390,000 lower than what was proposed in December. Now, council has made that decision in the past. In 2023, council used the general reserve to stabilize tax increase from some of the pressure that you were facing for the 2024 budget, and it worked out. There wasn't any substantial concerns. And because this amount is quite a bit lower than the amount that was done in 2024, I don't have a significant concern. We have had a history of surpluses. And as I mentioned previously, this is the leanest operational budget that we have seen. So I'm hoping that our surpluses will become a little bit more modest. So there might be a small risk, but it would be certainly quite insignificant risk.
Yeah, the risk is the 450,000, I guess, whether or not we have that surplus and whether or not we have those sufficient taxes collected through MAT. That's it. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Councillor Baines.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. Through you to Director Graham. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but just give me some reassurance that this will not affect at all the implementation or the timing of P55 by implementing this motion today.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Hamlin. Yes, I'm happy to reassure you that this has nothing to do with P55 and that will still be implemented.
Thank you. That gives me great assurances. Thank you.
Okay. Would there be any other questions? Yes, Councillor Ring.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. I just would like some clarification. And you had mentioned, Mayor, that the 60,000 was from this coming year's MAT. And is it not from the 20, sorry, through you to the treasurer? Is this not coming out of the money that we anticipate in the 2025 MAT? So it's not,
Treasurer,
we're
please
saying
go
it's
ahead.
not money we've never got. It's
Okay, that's a
from the
fair
previous
question.
year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Hamlin, through you to Councillor Ring. You are correct. So on Monday, Council had voted to use 50%. So first of all, to step back a little bit, the full 120,000 for the Economic Developer Officer was to be funded from 2025 MAT funds. On Monday, Council voted to say 60% of that, or 50% of that should come from 2026. So you freed up $60,000 of the 2025 MAT funding, and it was used to lower the amount required to raise for taxes. So it is the 2025 MAT funding that is in question.
I see. That's an interesting distinction. So we by reducing from 26. Can you say that again? That was actually quite interesting.
It's thank you, Mayor Hamlin.
Yes.
It is a little yeah. So there's 390,000 is our estimate for 2025 MAT funds. Council had directed staff to use that on a few different initiatives, one of those being the Economic Development Officer. On Monday, Council voted to use 60,000 of 2026 MAT funding, which had previously used 250,000, so increase that to 310,000 to fund that. So we were only using 330,000 of 2025 MAT, and then but using extra 2026 MAT.
Okay. Do you have any follow-up?
Yeah, it's just again through you to the treasurer. I was very glad that the questions that were asked by Councillor McCullough we got to see the answers to them, and I was very pleased to see some of the questions that were asked and were answered. And unless I took them wrong, I had the feeling after reading them that Treasurer, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you don't think that this motion is actually a bad thing, and because not just your response in there, and then it was your responses at the Monday's council meeting was, you said more than once that any money we can put into life cycle reserves or the asset management, regardless how small it is a good thing. So I'm taking that this is not this motion today isn't a real big concern of yours. Is that true?
Go ahead, Treasurer Graham.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I don't have any fundamental concerns with this amendment. That's correct. It maintains the same overall tax impact as the mayor's proposed budget, and it does modestly improve capital funding using one-time measures for stabilization. I can implement the budget either way, and will support council's direction. But you're correct. I have no fundamental concerns really at all with this amendment.
Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, CEO.
Because I'm always campaigning what I think is the best for the municipality, I'd like to add a little bit through the mayor to Councillor Ring. All in all, when we sit down together and we look at the long-term strategic financial plan and the other plans that you've received, such as asset management, it is very clear that we need more funding in asset management to renew our existing assets. This takes essentially a surplus that you had last year that had been placed in the general reserve and moves it over. To be very clear, it is for an asset renewal. That said, in the future, as future budgets go forward, we do need more funding to come truly from the tax base or fees or other ways that council may find to increase the amount of expenditure that goes to those asset renewals. So I just didn't, I'm happy that funding is going in there now, but it is funding you already have, not funding that we, have found or increase the tax rate or move some money to put in there. Plug for next year. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Moving it between one account and another, that's what my concern's been, but that's okay. Anyone else have a comment? Okay. Oh, Councillor McCullough, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. Excuse me. Just one comment, and perhaps one question for the treasurer through you. If my math is right, in total this year, we've moved $310,000 from the MAT into operating or other purposes, perhaps not directly connected to tourism. And I think given the circumstance right now, that's okay, because that is a new program and it doesn't really have feet and motion yet. So we're not hamstringing its activities in the future, in this upcoming year. My word of concern on that is that the MAT is seen as a stabilizer of tax rates in the future. And then, looking at it from a business perspective, we're spending money that could be used to improve the future of the town, to cover operational costs. So I'd like to hope that's not an ongoing trend, and that those funds go in the direction that we had intended them to go. So that's just a general statement. And then to the treasurer, we have excess MAT funds, we have excess reserves. We've done very well on investments, and the feedback I hear continuously is that it's a very tough year. We don't want to increase taxes. Citizens are having difficulty maintaining their lifestyle and making ends meet. Do you have any concern that 1 year from now that we won't be in a more severe economic and financial position? So I want to make sure we're not kicking the ball down the road, hoping for better days. Because I'm not certain that we're going to find ourselves there 12 months from now. I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year, which is a euphemism for challenging. So I just want to look at that and kind of get your input on whether you think we'll, and I know you've said there's a low risk, but that's part of my concern, is we'll be in the same environment for the taxpayer 12 months from now, making hard decisions without excess funds to create solutions or buy down the tax rate. So just any thoughts you have on that, Director Graham, would be appreciated.
Okay, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McCulloch. That is a big question. You're absolutely correct that our economic times continue to be uncertain. They're struggling for most of our residents, most of Canada. Our town is in excellent financial position right now. In addition to the general reserve, we do have other reserves like our capital contingency and working capital fund that can help us should anything significant happen. I don't think 390,000 is a risk. We will be presenting in March our long-term strat financial plan, and part of that is a big analysis of our reserve funds and what our target balances should be, because most of our target balances were created 15, 20 years ago and are outdated and need to be increased. And it might come to light that our general reserve does need to increase. But yes, it is going to be a difficult year. The services that we provide as a municipality are core critical services, and it is very difficult to cut costs on them because it quite frankly impacts health and safety and other measures too. So I'm not sure I'm really answering your question, other to say that yes, I do agree that it is going to be a trying few years for all of us. And I have said it previously, and I'll say it again, that this model that we have for infrastructure, and it's not unique to Collingwood, it's for every municipality, is unsustainable the way it is, that we will need help from other support level of governments. We will need the provincial and federal governments to help maintain our infrastructure.
Thank you. Do you have any follow-up, Councillor McCulloch?
No, thank you, Mayor. Not on that question.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Baines.
Thank you. I was just going to reinforce all the other comments that, and to the deputy mayor, that was almost the reason for my deferral, to say I look forward to a fulsome discussion on March the 2nd. Dive into all of these issues so that it really is more of a understood policy, not only by the councillors, but by the citizens themselves going forward as to the financial structuring, if you will, for the town as we go forward. Because, economics is not my strong point. It's history, but I appreciate and will appreciate that meeting on March the 2nd. Thank you.
Councillor Jeffrey, did you have your card up or no? Okay. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much, and really appreciate everybody's comments and thoughts on this. And the only thing I think I'd add to actually Councillor McCullough's point is I think this is what I was concerned with, and the others who supported this coming forward was I think we're just kicking it down the road a little if we don't put the 450 through now when we have the opportunity without a tax impact, because that'll bring us up to around $6 million in 26 being recovered directly from taxes. It is unfortunate. We had planned to have the long-term financial plan available at the same time. In my opinion, I think that at a minimum, we'll find when we look at the long-term financial plan that we need to be doing something like this number, 650,000, for the next few years. But we'll be able to show it transparently to the public because we've been able to split that out now and show them what's the capital portion of your tax levy that you're paying and what's the operational. So, and then in regards to the MAT, I do look at it as money that's coming over to cover those ongoing costs for the tourism related things we do, whether it's trails or providing transit, those types of things. And we didn't try to break it down and put it in specific areas. We just brought it in total. But the other thing that gives me very much confidence about 26 is it had spectacularly great year with our investment revenue, which is phenomenal for a 1-year return, and the treasurer's been very, very conservative with our growth forecast because of what happened through the course of 25, and so I think both of those have a bit of a backstop ability to make sure that we're okay coming into 27 in regards to the municipal levy side of it. So again, I really appreciate everybody's thoughts on this, and again, staff's participation. As CEO Skinner said, it was helpful, but in the end, what's being brought to the table is the councillor's position, not staff's. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we'll just bring this to a vote then. Shall we divide these? So I think we should divide off the last one at least. That would be my suggestion, unless there's any other thought. Okay. All those in favor of the first, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of this motion. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't even count. I'm going to have to ask you. There's too many people here. Okay.
Mayor Hamlin, I'm wondering if I could stick with my request for recorded votes on the budget items, and that might make it simpler too.
Sure, that'd be awesome. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hands or your yes cards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all those opposed? 1. Perfect.
Okay.
And then the last portion of the motion, that the remaining budget amendment period be shortened to end upon the completion of this meeting. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your yes card. 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. And all those opposed, please raise your hand. Councillor McCulloch.
So I'm not voting because it's ridiculous to think we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. Okay, so that's good. Thank you, everybody. And so unless I'm missing something, we're going to do the confirmatory bylaw right now. And that is that bylaw number 2026-004, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the special meeting of council held January 16, 2026, be enacted and passed this 16th day of January, 2026. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Ring, seconded by Councillor Baines. All those in favor? That looks to be unanimous. And an adjournment request. Councillor Potts, thank you. Okay, happy Friday, and all those in favor of adjourning? And we've had a record fast special council meeting. Thank you very much, everyone.